This is Camera Mine, and we're going to install BackTack 2 final. So once you got it down and installed, we're going to click on New. We're going to click Browse. You're going to go download it wherever you saved it at. I saved it in downloads in my Windows 7 machine. We're going to use VMware. If you're doing HD, then you're going to do that one. You can click Next if you're doing VMware, Linux, and then other Linux 2.6.x kernel. And then you're going to erase whatever's there and type in BackTack in case you have other virtual machines. And this one should be BackTack 2. Click Next. I'm gonna store it on single. You can do multiple. It really doesn't matter which one you use. I like singles. I'm gonna click 15 gigabytes. 15 gigabytes is big enough. I'm gonna customize this because I want 512. And then once I get 512, I'm gonna click close because I use 15 gigabytes. I'm gonna open this up like I told you when to download. I'm gonna type in 15 and see that number of megabytes, however big your hard drive is. You're gonna type here in the gigabytes. You're gonna type it in there, and then you're gonna copy whatever that megabytes is, because you're gonna type it into this calculator or whatever calculator you're using, or if you're doing it by hand, you're gonna do that way. So 15 3060 and minus 1012, because 1024, or not 1012, but 1024 is actually 1 gigabyte. I want 1 gigabyte to be used as swap, so I have to leave 1 gigabyte by itself. So when we're making the partitions, we're gonna use that. So 1024, and then we're gonna actually be using for partition 1 this, and then the rest you can leave at default, which will give you that 1 gigabyte. Alright, so now that we got that to the side, we're gonna click finish and pretty much wait until it loads properly. Okay, once it loads, we're just gonna hit enter for it to boot properly. I'm gonna pause here. Okay, it should load like this. I'm gonna still keep pausing. Okay, once you get to this, pretty much the login is root. The password is the backwards spelling of root, so it's TOOR. I'm gonna change the password. I'll show you that later. Right now we're gonna see what kind of hard drive we have. So fdisk, that's space and then dash lowercase l. Okay, you type enter. I'm working with SDA type of hard drive, so fdisk again, and then dev for the directory of where the hard drive is located, SDA for the hard drive itself, and then we're gonna type in M. The ones we're going to be using are the N command right there to add a new partition, P to print the primary table to actually, before we actually write it, and the W to actually write it. If you're doing a hard drive install, you might use the D to delete a partition so you can recreate it using this method. So let's get to it. N for new partition, P for primary. We're going to use partition 1. We're gonna leave cylinder 1 at default 1. Just type in enter, and then right here, this is where the megabytes of the hard drive you're gonna use for partition 1. So mine was this one. So 1433.6 is the size that I wanted to give it. So let's give it that. Well, if you're giving it for that's gonna be plus, because we're using this right here, the plus M size M, because that's the command we're using. So 14.336 and then capital M. Okay, so once we get that, we're gonna actually write the next partition, which should be our swap partition. So N again for new partition, P for primary partition, and then partition number 2. So instead of 1, because we wrote 1 on the top over here, see, we used N for new partition, then 1. We can have up to 4, that's why it says that 1 to 4. So we're working with number 2, so everything's going to be at default. So just click enter again, and then click enter again, and then P to see what we're actually going to be writing. I'm satisfied with how it looks, so I'm going to type W and pretty much pause here. Okay, now we need to format those 2 partitions, and fdisk from the beginning, lowercase l, and I'm satisfied of how it looks. So mkfs extension 3, because that's how BackTack 2 is. It needs to be installed. Dev sda1, because that's hard drive, and then partition 1. And I'm gonna pause there. Okay, now we're gonna make the swap. So mk swap /dev sda2. So that one was kind of easy. We're gonna activate it. Swap on space dev sda2. That's SWAPON space bar, then the partition 2. So enter, and then we're gonna type in free to see that it's actually activated. So there it is right down there. It's activated. Now we're gonna install. So mount. I'm sorry, you gotta mount it first. So make first a directory to the mounting on the folder mnt. That's mounting, and then we're gonna type in bt2. You can type whatever name you want. You can say blah 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 blah, but you got to remember all that. So bt2 is easier for me to remember and type out, you know, all together, because then you have to put the quotations. Make that directory. Now you're gonna mount the hard drive partition 1. It's da1, and then space. So that's mount space dev sda1 space space bar, you know, hit the space bar, and then mnt, because we made that directory on the top, bt2. So that's the top thing that we made. We made this, we made that directory. So now we got to specify we're going to mount it as we're going to mount the first partition, and we're going to mount it to that folder that we made on the top. Okay, you're going to click enter, then start X, because now we're going to install. I'm gonna pause here. Okay, now that you're fully logged in, you're gonna type into the K menu. You're gonna go into System, and then the BackTack installer. Pretty much everything should be normal and default. The source CD you're gonna leave blank. The install back to BackTack, that's where we mounted it to. So if it doesn't show up, you did the mounting wrong. Redo it for this to show up. You're gonna have to close the BackTack installer and then remount it. Write to MBR. That's fine, because that's the hard drive we're using. We're going to use the real, and then this is going to hang around 81. That's because it has a huge file, needs to download. Just be patient, give it around 5 minutes, and it should start installing. So once we have it the way we want it, unless you're using a USB, then use the top one, but other than that, use the real 27. You know, why do you need a compressed if you have enough hard drive space, right? Anyways, so install, and pause here. I'll be back when this is fully installed. I think the reason I installed this, see, I'm already hung at 81%. No, back to what I was saying. The reason why I'm showing you how to install it, so you can actually see what is going behind the GUI. I know there's a newer Linux, and you know, other installers will partition and stuff, whatnot for you. So everything has to be case sensitive. So if it's uppercase, lowercase, and whatnot. Okay, so I guess my little talk was pretty much interrupted because this thing's done. See, all done. Click close to button to finish. To close button or whatever. Anyways. Now we can just go ahead and power off. And we'll be back. Well, more like I'll be back. If it's stuck right here, don't worry about it. It'll shut down. It just takes a little bit. Alright, now that you're fully turned off, you're going to click on the BackTack that you just made. If you're using on a full HD install, don't worry about it. Just take out the CD. You don't have to do this. Hold on. Well, actually, I didn't need to take off that CD because automatically on, I guess, with VMware 2, it automatically just says I'm done installing and I'm going to use the hard drive. So I guess I don't need to take it off. See, I can, over here, I can disconnect it and then it'll go away. And as you can see, I'm still playing over here. Huh, that's the hard drive right there. So the virtual machine CD is not actually booting. So now we're gonna pause so I can load properly. Okay, for some reason I guess I pressed pause and I never came back. But we're gonna log in like normal. Password is the backslash. And then we're gonna type in pswd root, and then you're gonna type in your new password. If it's weak, it's gonna ask you a third time. Start X. Now you can log out just to make sure that your new password is actually gonna work. So you can type in root and then the new password for your new root. So once you log in, you're gonna start X, and I'm gonna pause here. BackTack is Slackware, so it's gonna be a little different when you open up the console. Instead of apt-get, you will use a different one. So I'll show you right here. Instead of apt-get, I usually remember slap-t-get. So slap T and then the dash and then the get update dash update, and that's pretty much it. You know, everything's the same. It's just slap get and then dash update upgrade, and you know, like that. Click yes. If it doesn't, you know, if it lacks on it says download of, you know, incomplete, then that just means that you know, it just means that this thing is very old and some of them don't work anymore. But anyways, once this is fully installed, you can go ahead and do that. Just use that slap because this is Slackware. Anyways, this is Camera Mind saying, did you earn an extra brain cell? Next time I might install BackTack 3 because it's a little different. I just noticed that I've seen on a lot of YouTubes that instead of showing you 2 partitions, they actually show you 3, but you only need 2. I don't know why they show you that extra one. They don't explain much to you, not even when you go reading. So I finally started to remember, and now I wanted to share this with you so you guys can grow an extra brain cell. I know it's late, but now you can see what the GUI is actually doing in the background. Alright, so this is Camera Mind saying, I hope you learn an extra brain cell. Go play with it, go have fun with it, go, you know, I don't know, whatever you do after the videos. Anyways, this is Camera Mind saying, I'm going to sleep because I'm tired.